What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and in this video we're going to be doing a detailed speed test between the Google Nexus 5X versus the iPhone 6s. So a few of you have asked me for this video, and we'll be doing your standard app tests, some gaming tests, but we'll also be doing things like launching the camera and also RAM management. So we'll be reopening apps that are already running in the background and see how well these devices manage that too. So straight away, for those interested in Geekbench scores, I'm not going to bore you too long. Here's what we have. The iPhone 6s does score higher in both the single core performance as well as the multi-core performance. Now getting straight into the test, firstly in terms of the fingerprint sensors, I already have done a detailed fingerprint sensor speed test between both of these, and the Nexus 5X did come out on top, and I will link that video in the description below if you do want to go ahead and check it out. Now in terms of launching the cameras, the Nexus 5X does have a quick launch, which is double tapping the standby button and that will launch the camera. You don't have this for the iPhone 6s. The quickest way to do that is to go to the lock screen and then drag upwards from the right hand corner of the screen. So doing this both at the same time, you can see that the quick shortcut on the Nexus 5X is better. You can also see this in slow motion, and you'll see that it does launch the camera quicker because of that shortcut. Now let's get straight into the app test. So firstly, you can see here that there are no apps running in the background. This is fresh, and we'll try to do this all in one take. So initially we're going to go into the browsers and we'll go into the BBC News website. So we'll search it up both on here and going on both at the same time. They finished loading, I think, roughly at the same time, maybe ever so slightly quicker on the iPhone 6s. Now let's try opening an article. Did finish first on the iPhone 6s. The Nexus 5X did start showing the content, but then it took a bit of time. Now we'll leave these open and let's move on to another app. So we'll go on to Instagram. Finish loading first on the Nexus 5X here. Now let's go into my profile. Finish loading there on the iPhone 6s. Now let's open an image. Ever so slightly quicker on the Nexus 5X. So interesting results here, a bit here and there. Now let's open YouTube. Did finish first on the iPhone 6s. We'll go on to my subscriptions. We'll open the first video that's there. Slightly quicker on the Nexus 5X there, but let's play the video. Starts playing first on the iPhone 6s. Now we'll pause this video and we'll open some more apps. So we'll leave all of these running in the background. Now we'll go on to Temple Run 2. Start seeing the content first on the iPhone 6s. And it also finishes loading up first on the iPhone 6s. Now let's go on to a more intensive game. So we have Real Racing 3 that will open up. Now we start seeing the content straight away on the iPhone 6s. I was actually a little bit worried, thinking that I may not have pressed the button on the Nexus 5X. But here you can see that we're starting to see the animations on the iPhone 6s. And we can now go into the game, but the Nexus 5X is still loading. Now one thing to bear in mind is that the Nexus 5X is pushing out more pixels. You've got a 1080p display versus a 750p display on the iPhone 6s. So it is understandable that you'll be loading up graphics quicker on the iPhone 6s because there is less pixels. But we are looking at speed specifically in this test, and games do seem to be loading up quicker on the iPhone 6s. So we'll start up this game and see which one finishes loading quicker. Once again, it was the iPhone 6s. So we'll go back to the home screens. Now let's start reopening our apps that we had opened previously. So initially we'll go over on to the browser. So that was our first app that we opened. And let's see if it's still in its open state. So going on here, yep, both at the same position. So that's pretty good. Now let's go over onto Instagram to see if that is still open in the place that we left it. And it was quicker here on the iPhone 6s. It did seem like the Nexus 5X had to refresh, although it did land us back on the same position rather than going straight to the start. Now let's try out YouTube. Once again, it looks like the Nexus 5X isn't necessarily reloading, but it is refreshing the app, so it is quicker here on the iPhone 6s. So reloading these apps does seem to be quicker on the iPhone 6s. Now let's move on. So we'll go on to Temple Run 2. So let's see. exactly where we left them, so that's fine. No refreshing happening here. Now I mistakenly clicked YouTube, so we'll go onto YouTube on both of these before we go onto Real Racing 3, and both are at the same position, so that's good, and we can resume the games. So there we have it, the detailed speed test between the Nexus 5X versus the iPhone 6s. Now both of these are pretty fast, and I don't think you're going to have much of a problem. Now with the Nexus 5X, it was faster with the fingerprint sensor as well as launching the camera, but when it comes to your day-to-day apps, they are pretty much neck and neck. But when it comes to more intensive tasks such as gaming and reloading apps, the iPhone 6s was faster. What did you think of this test, and what did you think of the results of this test? Are they what you were expecting? Do drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And if you haven't already, then be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time.